Welcome back to my Minecraft hardcore survival. In the last episode, we made some solid progress, but today we're taking things to the next level. I built a massive mansion, because surviving in style is a must, and inside, we've got an automatic sorting system to keep everything organized, but that's not all. I also constructed a wizard tower, perfect for brewing potions and channeling some serious mystical energy. Stick around to see the builds in action and what's next for our hardcore world. Let's get started. This area feels too empty, so I think building a mansion is the perfect way to bring it to life. But first, it's time to terraform. I'm just smoothing out the land to create a solid foundation for my mansion. With that done, it's time to start building the mansion. But first, I realized I was running out of bread, so I harvested some wheat. Then, I headed back to the geode I found in the last episode because I wanted to use calcite instead of diorite. I collected the amethyst crystals with silk touch, but when I tried to mine the budding amethyst, I found out the hard way that it's impossible to collect. So, I carefully continued gathering the blocks without breaking any more of them. I repeated the process with another geode nearby, and after collecting everything, my inventory was completely full, so I dug my way back up. Then, I checked my storage and realized I didn't have enough stone bricks or logs. So I set up an AFK stone generator using lava and water in my quarry. I made a few mistakes at first, but after some adjustments, it was working fine. I then spent about 10 minutes AFK mining, which gave me a solid amount of stone. After that, I headed to the village to chop down a lot of trees, but when my axe was about to break, I decided to repair it first before getting back to work. With that done, I think I've gathered all the materials I'll need to build this mansion. So, I finally started building. I used stone bricks for the first floor, then added a spruce slab ceiling. For the second floor walls, I went with calcite to give it a clean contrast. But partway through, I ran out of logs, so I made another trip to the village to gather more. With that done, I continued working on the roof, using deep slate bricks and adding some dormer-style details to make it look even better. After that, I moved on to designing the exterior. Now, the mansion is finally complete. You might think the interior feels a bit too small, but don't worry. I plan to build a sorting system storage underground. To start, I needed magma blocks and soul sand for an elevator. With those in hand, I began building the elevator, but then I realized I hadn't decided on a theme for the underground area. So, I built a path and added some custom trees to bring the area to life. After that, I took a break and strolled around my base, thinking of a good theme. That's when I noticed an empty space nearby. It got me thinking, since there's a pillager outpost in the distance, building a wizard tower here could look really cool. It would almost feel like a magical defense tower guarding my base. So, I checked my storage and realized I was only running low on logs. So, I headed to the village and chopped down more trees again. With these materials, I was finally ready to start building the wizard tower. To be safe, I placed water around the base to prevent fall damage in case I slipped. But before I even got halfway through, I ran out of diorite. So, I made a trip to my quarry to gather more. Once I had enough, I got back to building. For the upper section of the wizard tower's base, I used spruce logs and calcite to give it a sturdy yet elegant look. For the roof, I went with amethyst blocks, making it feel truly magical. To add even more detail, I placed amethyst crystals, giving the tower a mystical glow. After that, I set up another enchantment area at the top of the tower, making it fully functional. Then, I continued building, reinforcing the base to make the tower sturdier. Finally, I stepped back to view it from the side, and I was really happy with how it turned out. Now, it's time to build a path and connect it to the rest of the base. Now that the wizard tower is fully finished, it's time to get back to my auto-sorting storage system. I still haven't decided on a design theme, but for now, I laid out the underground tunnel and will decorate it later once I make up my mind. So it's time to start digging. The center of the tunnel will serve as the main hub, and right in the middle, I plan to place the beacon once I acquire it. From there, I continue digging on this side. This area will be for ore and weapon storage. I then expanded it further to make room for all the redstone components and chests. Honestly, this part was so boring to do, but it's all going to be worth it in the end. After I finally finished digging, my pickaxe was almost broken, so I headed to the village, chopped down a ton of trees, and stacked up some emeralds. Then, I traded for a new axe and pickaxe, But before anything else, I needed better efficiency on my axe to chop trees faster. I got lucky this time. The enchantment table showed Silk Touch. I clicked it, and to my surprise, it also had Efficiency 4 and Unbreaking 3. With that done, I finally repaired my pickaxe. Now it's time to chop tons of trees since I'll need 360 chests for the ore storage. It took me almost 15 minutes, but it'll be worth it in the end. After that, I crafted all the chests and hoppers. While making the hoppers, I was literally hoping I had enough iron. And luckily, I did. With the chests and hoppers secured, I moved on to the next step. Then I checked my redstone supply, and turns out I didn't have enough. So I headed into a cave to mine more redstone. There were tons of skeletons, my hearts were low, and on top of that, I ran out of food. But I kept pushing forward, trying to get as much redstone as I could. After some time, I finally managed to escape alive, and I quickly dug my way up to the surface. Now, with this stack of redstone dust, I really hope it's enough to complete the sorting storage. I crafted redstone comparators and redstone repeaters, then headed underground to carefully place each component one by one, but as I worked, I suddenly realized I didn't have enough redstone. Looks like I needed to mine more redstone again, but this time, I decided to head to my quarry since I had found a huge cave there while strip mining, and, as always, a bunch of mobs jumped at me the moment I stepped in. After dealing with them, I took my time mining a ton of redstone, making sure I wouldn't run out again. Then, just as I got down with my elevator, I heard a loud noise. I quickly went up to check, and to my surprise, I found a skeleton riding a skeleton horse. Without hesitation, I took them down, defeating all the skeleton riders. After that, I rushed to my storage to grab some leads, and luckily, I had exactly 4, just enough to secure all the skeleton horses. After that, I headed back and continued placing the redstone components. This time, I made sure everything was set up properly. No more interruptions. Now, the storage system is almost finished, and a slime even spawned down here. The only thing left to do is label the chests with what items they contain, but there's a problem. I don't have any leather. So, I set out to hunt some cows, and it took way longer than I expected to find one. When I finally did, I got lucky. Thanks to my looting sword, I got 5 leather from just 1 cow. I traveled hundreds of blocks, but in the end, I gathered more than enough leather. Now, it's time to place down the item frames and put the items in. As you can see, I left some empty since I still don't have those items yet. Some, like Deep Slate Emerald Ore, would take a long time to find, so for now I won't be using this storage system just yet, but it's great progress so far. Then, I made some adjustments to parts of the wizard tower, including the roof. I wanted it to have a longer, pointier, and more curved look. After finishing the changes, I stepped back to take another look. And honestly, I think it looks a lot better now. Today, we made huge progress. We built a massive mansion, complete with a sorting system that will make organizing so much easier. We also constructed a wizard tower, giving my base a magical and defensive feel, especially with that pillager outpost nearby. On top of that, I even managed to get skeleton horses, which was completely unexpected. There's still a lot more to do, but this world is really starting to take shape. So, if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.